Welcome back, everybody. I'm Brimstone, and I'm joined here, of course, by Rook and Fraser. We're going into the fourth and final match on our today of CCSW R6 here, week number 7. This is shaping up to what the three of us believe is probably going to be the best match of the night. North Sea Gaming versus Spies, the second and third team here. So it's going to be a good one. Before we get into that, I'm just going to give you a quick recap of the day so far. We had B Titans against Endpoint, with Endpoint taking that 7-4, my apologies. And then we had Team Queen taking it as well, 7-4 against Pentadivina. Then Titanium Cloud Esports versus Hellside, with Hellside taking it 7-3. And that brings us to our fourth match. What can we expect out of this one, Rook?
I mean, it should be close, right? Second and third, both same score lines. Both really showing up, very strong teams. Only teams, I believe, each of them has lost to is Team Queen. So finally coming up against each other here. And I'm excited to see how they're going to match up, because you asked me, I mean, I have my bet. We'll get to that later. But both of these teams are very strong. So it's going to be hard to tell who's going to win.
Mm-hmm. Just one... Pardon me, just to add on to that, it's actually interesting. The game that Spies lost was actually to B Titans. It was an 8-7 overtime loss, and it's actually next week that Spies faces Team Queen. So I think that'll be interesting to see, very telling. I believe that gives the edge to North Sea Gaming, but I don't think we'll know until we see this match play out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really looking forward to seeing how both these teams play. I'd imagine that North Sea Gaming might have a bit of an advantage here. I feel like they're more of a technically focused team. I think they would definitely have the advantage pulling off some of the more complicated, complex strategies, which we always love to see.
Definitely. Let's get into the roster here. We've got North Sea Gaming, as we said, versus Spies, with North Sea Gaming featuring Aria, Disaster, Kalisa, Ashley, and Razzo, who is subbing in place of Miss Marie. Over to Spies, who has Miax, Alice, my apologies, Novo, Pigeon, and Valkia here. And if anyone is confused, Pigeon is Canary. That's what she'll show up as in-game, I believe. And I think we're ready to go to the map bans here, if you gentlemen would like to take that away for us.
Indeed, we should be able to. I mean, as much as the overlay currently shows it, no, it has reset now. So, I mean, we've had our coastline for the day. I was all excited for it. So I think it's actually really interesting, because these teams can play pretty much everything. We've seen it from them. I expect to see things like Villa banned out, though, because I don't think either of these teams particularly want to go to that more interesting maps with some of these more roam-heavy styles.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely expect to see some more technically challenging maps, such as Coastline. I don't expect we'll see Border, honestly. I don't really feel like that fits their MO either team. Surprised by the Cafe ban, honestly. I think it could have been an interesting one, especially for Spies. We know that they like playing vertical control. That's Cafe in a nutshell.
Yes, I'm surprised that we don't see more of that, but looking like they believe that North Sea would be more on top of this. We see the coastline get banned out, and Consulate will follow, so we won't be seeing that either. So now we've got Bank, Clubhouse, or Villa. I don't think we'll see Villa. I think we're going to Clubhouse here, but
I don't think we'll be seeing Villa. I don't expect that.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like something Spice would want to go for. And yeah, we're right. We will be going to Clubhouse, our second Clubhouse of the day. Hopefully, it will be as spicy as the first, because that was one hell of a series. 7-4 to Team Queen over Pentadivina Victoria. I mean, 4 rounds, better than North Sea Gaming managed to do earlier on in the season. So, very strong play.
It's going to be very interesting to see whether either of these teams are going to be able to defend. Now, as we saw during the last Clubhouse game, defense was a bit of a challenge, both for Team Queen and for Divina Victoria.
I mean, that's a bit surprisingly so. Normally, without Maverick, you expect it to be relatively defender-sided. I think it was something in the water at that situation in time. I mean, sometimes you have these kind of in-game metas that just last for one map. It was definitely surprising.
I mean, especially for a game like Siege, you'll have these maps that are sided towards either defenders or attackers. Some of them, like Border, will be a bit more balanced. However, Clubhouse is just so overwhelmingly defender-sided. It's been that way since it first came out. Obviously, it went through a bit of a change, I believe in year 3. Someone can correct me there. But since then, it's been such a staple for defenders. I'm looking forward to this.
Indeed, we'll be getting into the game in just a second. So we're just having the countdown. And yeah, we will be loading in. I mean, so on Clubhouse, are we expecting to see this Maverick ban again? That's a question I have, actually.
I think if we're going to see a Maverick ban, it'll be by North Sea Gaming. Potentially. Yes, it would be a smart one.
Yeah.
Get rid of that Maverick. It makes it so much harder to take CC. So much harder.
Indeed. Just for quick knowledge, Valkyr is actually Pascal in game. Will be under a different name. But the ban that we do see come through is that Thermite.
Okay, that's fair. Hard breach, get it out. You don't need to deal with it. That's useful for at least 3 different sites, not including bar or stock. No one counts that. Doesn't matter. It's going to be interesting to see what the spies choose. Jackal.
I mean, yeah, there's definitely a lot of routes around on this map, so you do see some people trying to do some roaming. Yeah. Taking that away means you can get away with a little bit more, so not an awful pick, and I quite like it.
Yeah, I mean, I would argue that roam clearance upstairs, not a lot of hassle. Spies going for a Maestro ban. Again, not too surprising. Maestro's strong operator, got that Elder, got the 2 evil eyes. I'd expect... Mira? Okay, yeah. So Echo's in play. It's going to be spicy.
Yeah, I mean, it's surprised to see him come through, but as we mentioned before, a lot of teams want to take away that mirror, and Maestro fulfills a similar niche, and some people feel his gun is a little bit stronger. So
yeah. So I mean, bearing in mind the last ban was for North Sea Gaming, they're defending first. They're gonna want to try and have as much of an advantage as possible. It definitely makes sense that they want to bring out that Echo. Yep. We are seeing the Maverick being played by Novo.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense to see that come on out. I mean, it's just particularly strong here, especially if people are in cache/CCTV. It allows you to actually get through pretty easily, even with the bandit tricking.
We're also seeing the Cad Bane 6 picked out over to the Mute. That's going to be quite an interesting change for them. It's going to be weird to see how they're going to try and hold on to cache, like the actual CC wall. Presumably they'll have Raz out on the wall, but potentially even the Mute Jammer first, and then put the Raz, the bandit batteries somewhere else. Curious to see how Echo is going to play this. Previously we were seeing Echo played by, I believe it was Shishka, during Team Queen's games, and she was playing fairly aggressively inside of a garage.
Yeah, I mean, it's about whether you're going to be able to get away with that in the same way. I think if you're sitting up here, it makes a lot of sense. It's pretty easy to get away with, especially when you have the ADS covering you. The issue is sorry, well, not the issue. The difference was that we actually started playing a lot down on the ground floor, which I think is a lot harder to get away with. But if you can, it has a great effect because you can move.
I really hate to say this, but one other slight difference: what works for Team Queen might not work for you.
That's pretty true. That's pretty fair.
Let's be frank. Team Queen could probably get away with quite a lot purely based on the fact that they frag out every round. Or almost every round, I should say.
Yeah, I mean, bar those 4 rounds that we saw, you know?
those don't count. We're not talking about them. Right now.
Yeah, Novo trying to get that on through.
Even that little hole right there stops the bandit from being able to bandit trick. It's right in the center, but so is the Mute Jammer. There isn't any bandit batteries on there.
Okay, they're
able to EMP it, no issue.
Well, they barely got that. Almost slipped off the edge of their building. And let's be a little bit more careful there. But they have taken some pretty strong positions, and now they've got this crossfire from the other side window. So on the subroof.
Yeah, I mean, you've kind of hit the nail on the head there. Fantastic positioning by the attackers, set themselves up, got the crossfire with the IQ blind blow for any utility.
Alice was there to try and help them set up and keep them safe more than anything. Kalisa is actually trying to hold an angle where they can shoot players from below, but is unable to actually find the vision, so won't be able to get that.
Curious to see what the attackers are going to try and do now, whether they're going to try and force a plan, or if they're going to take their time and maybe rotate around. Generally, most people attack from B. They try and go for the wall, then the window. Doesn't look like they're doing that this time.
It doesn't indeed. Ashley is sitting down though on this garage floor and looking to try and put that pressure on. Actually, drops into basement, trying to rotate around, doesn't want to get caught out because the drones were coming in. And, well, if you get droned out, you're most likely going to go down pretty promptly. Pascal, finding that pick onto the player up the stairs, is watching for a player to peek. Doesn't actually quite find the kill, but finds a bit of damage onto Ari here, putting that team in a great position as Alice can just walk on in, find that frag, find another, and move aggressively, very fast. Doesn't quite find the spray, but does a lot of damage to Kalisa, but it's 2 versus 4. This is exactly where you want to be if you're spies. But only 20 seconds on the clock, and they're quite far away. They really need to rush. Disaster, you need to be careful, was reloading at the worst possible time, and now it's 2 versus 1. And now, it's only Kalisa who needs to do this. They have that smoke. It's going to come on down onto the player. Pitcher needs to be careful. They're losing a lot of HP, but Pascal finds the kill.
Oh, that is so unlucky for Kalisa. She had the smoke canister thrown out there. However, it's just not enough, and Pascal able to secure that last kill through the red stairs rotate. Fantastic positioning, as mentioned prior. Very unfortunate as well for Ashley being caught out there. She was originally prone warrior inside the garage, rotating down through, taken down by Pascal.
Indeed. Unfortunate to get picked off there, but I mean, sometimes that's the sacrifice you make when you go prone. You have very little in the way of movement, and if someone out rotates you, well, you're dead, and you just kind of have to roll with that. I do like the Capital as well from Pascal, setting up for a lot of utility and flushing out players as well.
So it looks like we're going down, we're going to cash CC again for second time. I imagine they'll probably try and adapt and see if they can learn any lessons from the previous round. Similar lineup being brought out here. Curious to see whether they'll be using the Butte Jammer in the same fashion with Arya. Or if they'll be using the bandit batteries. I don't quite know where they use the bandit batteries. I presume it was in garage.
Yeah. Because they're using this mute jammer up here, which is pretty fair.
I like the utility of the Butte Jammer in there in place of 2 bandit batteries. It makes sense. Or I imagine maybe even they're going to try and keep Raz there for the full bandit trick.
Yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense, honestly. I mean, the issue is if we see the Maverick used effectively, it's very difficult to actually trick that.
I would like to see at least one of the bandit batteries being used down in the garage, specifically on the south wall of it, to stop that line of sight being opened up into that little window right there. It's very valuable for the attackers to have that window open, or have that line of sight open into the window.
Pascal in a good position. The need to go in are wasting the ADS out. Alice is looking for a way to try and get a shot through these holes, but it's going to be difficult. Raz is actually crouching so that they just about can't be seen.
Yeah, I mean, this is fantastic positioning by the bandit, trying to hold on to that wall as much as they can here. Potentially going to be able to get that wall. I don't believe the Capital is wasting any of the asphyxiate bolts on the wall yet. That will probably come in a minute.
Raz is definitely very aware and trying to self this, but yeah.
Oof, that is very unfortunate there for the side. Tried to nade from above, nade from below onto the bandit wall. However, the nade bounced off just short. Very unfortunate there. Seen this trick done before. Bandit's dead.
Oh.
Very unlucky. That is nasty.
You need to be paying attention. That's really loud. You can respond to that. Ashley, though, going to pick up Miox in response, so keeping the kill scores even. But that's an important death. Oh, Pascal barely not finding that shot. And actually going down for it. Ashley on little to no health, finding that second frag.
Novo managing to refrag, however. And
Yeah,
Alice
they will
responding
take
in
it
kind.
well. This is big for Spy as they are up a player, but this smoke is providing a way to cover the choke. But Spy are in multiple places at once. They're looking to push in from a couple of different angles, and this will be most likely NSG's undoing. Just trying to hold this.
Neither defender has a C4, so they are entirely reliant on that smoke canister to deny the plant here. It's not the best position to be in. However, not the worst. They can still manage this. Arya holding onto the window.
Yeah. Catch and aid will go in. Get rid of that mute jammer. Particularly relevant. Smoke goes down.
However,
That's
it's landed
barely
too
not
far
on any
up.
of them. Oh, that is unlucky. And I mean, at that point, as soon as the plant goes down, moving into 3, you're inevitably going to get mowed down. And Spies picking up that second round, some pretty solid attacking.
Yeah, it's great teamwork by Spies. They got the plant down, they covered it, and they immediately moved in for a post plant. They tried to push up onto the doorway, onto both of the doorways, cut off the rotate, stop any form of retake. It's great work by Spies.
It is, I mean, functioning well as a team across the board, putting in those set plays, getting rid of the walls, the utility that's being put down. They are ticking all the boxes for a successful attack.
North Sea Gaming having a bit of a slow start here. Bit of a surprise. I mean, they're generally well known for being a team that works well together. They work together, they get the kills together. And I'm surprised that they are working a bit more independently right now, to be frank.
Yeah. I mean, so now they've moved down to the basement. I think this is pretty fair. If you we were talking earlier, if you can't get the round into, if you can't get the site in 2 rounds, try something else. Maybe come back to it later, because I mean, you could pick up the basement and you would at least get something under your belt. So I think this is a sensible decision from North Sea Gaming.
Yeah, I mean, how many times do we talk about it where adaptation is key? If something isn't working out for you and it's consistently not working out, swap it up, change it out, try something new. Looks like that's what North Sea Gaming is attempting right now. Maybe it'll work out. Here's hoping.
Got the Capital hit still here for Pascal. Going to be useful in setting up and dividing those sightlines. Novo unfortunately gets spotted out by Cade with that drone, so he's still going to be able to set up a position here.
Like how Arya spots out, hey, they've got a Maverick. I'm probably not going to be able to contest this. Pushes back, doesn't waste our time, and doesn't waste any more utility trying to hold Dart when it's probably not going to work out.
Probably. Nice decision.
Jaeger currently on the staircase as well by Blue. I like that. I like that. Holding that angle for as long as you can. Fairly passive attack so far by Spies as well.
Yeah, it's surprising to see that. I mean, Habana hasn't gone towards kitchen yet, hasn't opened up the hatch. Do you see Razo looking for a way to impact trick that? Might be a little bit difficult.
Just kind of compare the way that Spies has attacked kitchen compared to impact trick does not work out. And the hatch opened up. Yeah, compare how they've attacked it compared to Team Queen.
Yeah.
This is a lot more aggressive and hands-on.
I mean, that's what you expect from Team Queen. However, holding the angle as well, Spies, I think a lot of good picks.
Yeah, trying to smoke off, or at least asphyxiate bolt into motor. Rotating through Jaeger. Potentially gonna get into bar now.
Unless fighting with Ashley here in stage and bar. That's a nice spray from Ashley. Will stop them from being able to blow up that hatch, I believe. So definitely very valuable. He's going to get that spray, but doesn't actually manage to find the kill. It's going to be Pigeon, the one who nets it. And, well, now there's an advantage for the offensive side.
That was an absolutely fantastic waste of time and utility by Ashley. However, Pigeon gonna go in for the diffuser now, planting that down.
Yeah, they have control of this side, and all they have to do is sit back here. You have Novo in construction as well. Alice unfortunately disconnect, but they will still be able to most likely net this round as there's just such a control on the chokes here. Pascal gets a kill, and Noah's going to pick up the next one. 3-0. We are going to have a quick rehost because of that disconnection. But Spies picking up round 3.
Yeah, I mean, that was incredibly well coordinated by them. I think it's fair enough to say that they earned that. They earned that win.
I mean, totally.
Yeah, good work by Ashley, to be fair, for North Sea Gaming. That flank there, not only did she get rid of some of the ex-Kairos from Motorhatch, but she was also able to waste a fair amount of time. There was 50 seconds left. A lot of potential for that round. It's unfortunate it ended that way.
Indeed is. Interested to see how this is going to go, especially looking at the half. We saw a big change in teams and how they played at the half when we played border earlier this tonight.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's more Team Queen kind of warming up and putting themselves in the mindset. Whether North Sea Gaming will be able to do the same thing, it's a different matter.
Yeah, I mean, North Sea Gaming, we've seen them before. We've seen them be able to adapt to a situation kind of as it occurs. Hopefully they'll be able to learn from this, and perhaps when we come back, they'll be coming at it from a different approach.
So definitely an interesting start, and I think we have to agree, not one that we envisioned here. Spies taking a 3-0 lead so far on the attack here. And I think we expected, and you guys touched on it, a bit more coordination than we've seen from North Sea Gaming. Spies being given a bit more space than we thought they would have been allowed.
Yeah, I mean, I was surprised. Spies got very up and in their face. We're playing relatively passive, especially on that last round, to gain information. And from there, they found a pick, and they go, right, we're going to go on that side. Pretty simple, huh? But the main part is that they're finding these openings. And, I mean, North Sea Gaming are kind of backing off in situations where maybe they should stand their ground. It really depends on how you're intending to take the round, but it will be difficult to win if you just keep on backing off.
Now, Fraser, is there anything in this match between North Sea's side or Spy's side where either there's been maybe a missed opportunity to select operators, or maybe the Spies are just getting the right operators they need in the moment? What have you seen there?
Well, yeah, I think it's entirely fair to say that Spies have been playing operators that, hey, it's working. We're not going to change from this lineup. On the other hand, North Sea Gaming, they could definitely benefit from six-picking onto a new operator, trying out something else. Potentially, they're playing down in CC, bring a pulse. Hold that down by the lockers, and then look straight up into kitchen. I think it would be a good adaptation for them. I think it would work out, potentially.
Is there anything outside of operators that you can see so far? I know we're only 2 rounds into it here, small kind of sample base to choose from, but is there something besides operators that you think they need to change to get themselves going here?
They're so passive compared to what we've seen before. This is like Clubhouse today. Teams that we're used to seeing aggressive and dominating are playing a lot more passive, and they're playing a lot more laid back, and it's just not working out for them.
Mm-hmm. It does seem like we are starting to get ready here. I'm seeing a couple of R's in the group now. I think we're going to hold just a second though here. They're still sorting a few things out. Now, this is a situation, I mean, we talked about this earlier in the evening, Clubhouse being a defender-sided map. Now, Spies are up 3-0 on attack. Do you think that this is a must, that North Sea Gaming has to come back here and take the next 3 defensive rounds?
I mean, yes. So we've already talked about how this is a defensive side. We are going to get back into that game. So unfortunately, you won't be able to reply. But this allows me to just go on at length. No, North Sea Gaming really need to be able to take this these next 3 rounds because it's defender-sided, and you want at least something. You cannot going even is like not great, but at least it's something. That's the important part.
So looks like we're going up to Cash CCTV for the 3rd time. Hopefully this is going to work out now. Bring a very similar lineup to last time. Again, Disaster with the Echo. Hopefully she can make something work, make something play with us as well. Jaeger, Ashley, she's consistently a good player. Hopefully she can wake up a little bit here and get some more frags now for our team.
I mean, 6th pick away to Frost is definitely interesting. I mean, if you're looking to catch people off guard, a trap will probably do the trick. Hopefully they actually manage to get something with this. But I think they've been checking a lot of their positions. We've not seen a lot of rushing from the side of Spies. So I think this is a little bit strange to see. I think they've been playing relatively measured, actually, for most of the game. It's when we get to that late game that they're kind of like moving forward relatively fast, but that's what you see from every team. They should have enough time to clear these out, so I don't like this Frost pick, as much as I love Frost.
Yeah, I mean, being frank, the best part about Frost, rather than the actual trap itself, is simply the fact that you force the attackers to look down every time they go through a window, or a doorway, or a hallway. And it wastes their time, it forces them to drone out more. Does more damage than actual Frost trap kills.
Yeah, that's certainly true, because it just gets you that little bit extra reaction time. It's like when you have to go to check a door for a Capcan in a very similar manner. Where you're always second-guessing yourself. You're not sure what you're going to do. You don't want to get caught out, because, if you die to that, you feel like a right moron.
Yeah. Speaking of a right moron, I'm not actually quite sure what the Sledge was doing there. Potentially just trying to get rid of some of the garage wall before the Maverick went in.
I mean, yeah.
Oh, I know what they're doing. They're trying to nestle the X-Carriers into the wall. For the record, that doesn't work, but nice try. Echo holding inside garage. I like this.
I mean, no one's really pushing through garage at the current moment, which is nice because that means Aria from this position can actually hold that wall and that opening that's going to be so key to the rest of this round. They have something to do in that regard. They're taking control of the lower area and they're trying to keep these players from flanking them. Good flank watch from me-ups. Very important to how they're going to be pushing through here.
It's a shame to see Ashley unable to land any meaningful kills or damage to the attackers with her flank. It's a big shame. She's lost a lot of health. She's going to have to play a lot more passively now, and that's just not what NSG need right now.
So, you need to be careful. I mean, the thing is, Spies take the advantage early on in terms of space because we've seen a lot of it just being ceded to them on principle, and I don't like that we've got 2 or 3 players in this garage area. They have rotated a little bit out now, but they're not really achieving all too much in terms of the rest of this game. I like that Ashley is all the way up on top floor over in the bathroom, but that's about it.
I'm surprised we have the Sledge. I would have thought a Buck would be a better pick. I mean, we still have the frag grenades, still viable, but there's better operators for the job.
There certainly are. But again, if you make it work, you make it work. A lot of low health bars across this game, while we haven't actually seen a kill come through yet. You see me looking towards that, finds the headshot, just as I say we find no kills. A string of kills come on through, and it is 2 for 2 on the whole. And control of Garage going over to the side of Spies. And this is going to be really important because they also have outside wall opened up.
It's a great situation.
Defuse is down. They need to get for this plant. Novo needs to be very careful. The trap is there, and it wins the round.
I take back what I said about Frost.
I mean, I don't, but sure. Mistakes are made as forced into the clutch and late into the round. Spies make a deadly mistake and step a wrong foot.
I do find it mildly ironic that whenever we say something isn't going to work out, it works spectacularly. Like, I can't do words. But, like, it works. How?
Don't ask me, man. Don't ask me. I mean, it's the time pressure. That was the situation there. They weren't like really aware of the frost because all of the welcome mats were on site, so they weren't really expecting anything at that point. But will not be taking it this time. I like the vigil. I like the fact that they're going for some sort of roam, especially since we did see Jackal get banned early on.
Defenders, protect your bombs.
Yeah, I mean, Vigil, fantastic operator. Arya knows how to play him. Arya, give her a gun, she'll give you bodies. I think that's probably the best way you can summarize Arya. Hopefully it's going to work out a little bit more here. They did definitely work for that last round, and I'm sure they're going to do it again.
Indeed. Arya.
I think she's hiding. I don't think she wants him to spot her.
That's pretty fair. I mean, the sixth pick, if you don't get spotted, that feels pretty good because you managed to hide that information and they don't actually know who that's going to be.
5 seconds to go.
Yeah, 100% that. Really good setup so far by NSG. It's solid, it makes sense, it's logical, it works. TM. I think I feel like everything we say at this point has like citation needed.
It's the caster's curse, man. Now you're starting some casting, you'll understand that everything you say is inherently wrong because everything will change to do it. No, I mean, hopefully we've not got caster's curse for either of the teams. We want to see the best team win, not the most cursed one. I mean, so Spies, this time, I think this breaching hammer of the sledge is a lot more relevant, I think.
Yeah, oh yeah, 100%. It makes more sense. Stockhatch is unreinforced.
Huh.
Interesting. Okay then.
Arya, though, is above it. Has been spotted out, though.
I mean, I'd imagine she'd likely try and rotate towards Cash CC. It'd make sense. Probably get caught out in construction, however. Nope, looks like Zofia going downstairs, main staircase. Oh no, she's going upstairs. It's the same thing, really. Just upstairs, downstairs.
Yeah, Arya is waiting, watching to see if anyone comes too far, listening out more than anything. Obviously, motivation, but those footsteps are going to be key. Here's someone breaking something and instantly rotates around to try and find it. Gives away their position in the meantime, though. Over to Arya, who could be looking for an opportunity to move on out of here. However, waiting around the corner is Miox. He's watching for this player.
I'm pretty certain that Miox would have had that jump up onto...
Yeah.
Oh, Ashley getting another kill here.
That distraction is going to be key, especially because Ashley finds a second kill here. Arya providing some covering fire as well, trying to keep them suppressed. 1 minute on the clock, and they're still preoccupied with the players upstairs. This is not a great situation to be in. Miox, though, takes down Arya, so at least they found something from that escapade up here.
This is the North Sea Gaming we want to see. This is what we want to see from them right now. Miox, less than 10 HP.
This is just a mistake and a half. Ashley is getting away with this entire round, just from playing on the complete opposite side of the map to where they need to be, and distracting as they find a quad kill. Pigeon is going to try and solo 1v3 the players on site, but with 25 seconds left, I ain't expecting much.
They've won this. In my honest opinion, they deserve that.
Yeah, they absolutely do. I mean, Ashley solo won that round with the 4K. North Sea Gaming pick it up, and we were talking about how important these rounds would be, as they do manage to actually take them.
Yeah, I mean, it's great to see North Sea. They've woken up again. They all of a sudden they've just snapped on, and they're like, hey, let's shoot some people, let's get some kills on the board, let's take it from there, let's win. And going over to Gym Bedroom now. Well, I mean, it's better than Bostock. Although, to be fair, anything's better than Bostock.
Yeah, it's true. We've seen Bedroom twice now, so it's interesting to see how it'll function.
Oh, yeah. Bringing out the Frost again. Okay. Okay. I'm liking this.
I mean, out of all the characters to replace, I don't think Valkyrie is the one. But sure, it worked first time.
You know, I'm just at the stage where I'm like, this makes no sense, but I like that it's working. It makes me happy that it's working. So correct me if I'm wrong, Arya had 2 people in Frost traps the last time she played
Yeah.
Frost. Here's hoping she can get another 2.
I mean, if they do that, I'll most likely win them the round. Finding 2 picks off of just utilities like that is pretty darn strong.
And even if somebody gets into a welcome act and then revived, they're still on incredibly low health.
Yeah.
Oh, Arya, that is dirty. Right, there are 2 Frost traps in gym.
Have you seen the video from The Simpsons where Sideshow Bob, Sideshow Bob walks into the rakes?
Yeah.
It's gonna be that.
Oh
You're
no.
gonna see, walk in the first one, get red. Walk in the second one.
That is a fantastic strategy if I've ever seen one.
Yeah.
Here's hoping that spies aren't going to drone Jim, like they've got to.
Yeah, they gotta get some of that information. But there we go. We see that sledge coming in handy yet again. Gonna see the ADS is gonna stop quite a bit. Yes. Noticing there's no one in there, but there are some players trying to look to shoot through the wall. I hope they check where their feet are gonna go.
Now, ideally speaking, Sledge should be peeking this right now to try and cover the bandit on the wall, but
That's
instead...
a big mistake.
So that was either 1 or 2 X-Caros going down there. To the
Just
bandit.
one.
Okay. That was a bit of a waste, being frank.
Yeah, not on the same page, unfortunately, and
Uh,
get punished for it. I mean, I'm just impressed that we saw Raz actually go for that because the window is open. Normally, you just don't go for it if the window's open.
Yeah.
It does get away with it.
I mean, I guess there's certain benefits to just sticking it rather than bowing out, and, you know, she reaps the reward of it. Very low health, but otherwise the wall's relatively intact.
Actually, playing this flanker, trying to get their focus and just drag them away from everyone else.
Mm-hmm. I'm really impressed with how Ashley's playing today. I'm really impressed with that.
Really on top of it, and the Frost finds a first kill of the round. Not going to be a mat kill, unfortunately, but we'll be finding something. Mayok's looking to make this pinch now onto Ashley.
Yeah, it's a great position to be in right now. Ashley getting a double cut.
Oh my. Big mistakes here from Spies, and, well, North Sea Gaming are coming alive in a manner akin to what we saw from Team Queen earlier today. Really fragging out here, and Alice is the only one remaining.
Oh, good night.
No useful utility here. You're going to have to solo frag these 4 players. Making a hell of a lot of noise. Doing exactly where she is. It's
15 seconds to
Nightmare Land today. Needs to be very careful.
We already know where 2 of the Frost traps are. Where's the last one? Is that gonna matter? Or is she gonna die to the crossfire here?
Almost certainly going to die to crossfire.
Khaleesa getting a nice little kill there. The SMG limb. I like that. It's very unfortunate for the Thatcher trying to cross in through construction. There's like 2 people watching that. Plus, there's no time. It's been really well. I think North Sea Gaming, they're turning it around. 3-3, they can manage this.
Yeah. I mean, they certainly can. I mean, with the round swap, I'm interested to see whether Spies will be able to replicate their early success or look more like they did lost in that second half.
Alright, so we're bringing out the Buck with Ashley. Nice little change there. Gonna have the vertical control. However, it's not really gonna matter too much since they are playing it downstairs rather than cache CCTV. A lot of the time, most people generally prepare to play CC first since it's the stronger site, in theory, and statistically speaking. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, so I'm pretty interested to see finally that we're actually having the buck rather than the sledge, and I think that's going to be well, it wouldn't matter here. The fact that we've seen them take buck in general, it actually bodes really well because we can see vertical play regardless of whether they're on the bottom floor or the top floor. The buck will come in very handy.
Yeah, so I would expect Ashley and Disaster are going to be focusing on the kitchen, whilst Arya likely going to go for the secondary hatches such as stock and bar, I'd imagine. Say, great lineup, even for downstairs. Is a great lineup. Maybe it's got the C4 out.
Yeah, it's just waiting for someone to try and knock on that door, home. Well, it's looking for a very curt welcome.
It's not quite a frost trap, but you know, C4 to the face probably would put anyone in the ground.
No callers, not at all. Doesn't like those door-to-door salesmen.
Oh, not at all. Just got Legion holding inside garage. Just imagine she'll probably try and hold that for as long as you can before dropping down into Opit. If you're trying to go out for a run out there, it doesn't work out.
Yeah, Vigil not working out for Nova here. Instead, Ashley was waiting. Wings is trying to pick off, and well, another upper player. This is exactly what we want from the attacking side. They've got a huge amount of time, but they've definitely got something to work with. Razo is now going to push in through construction alongside Arya here, but waiting is Mios in construction.
I imagine Arya will probably die here. Actually, no.
It's a good concussion. Almost finds the shot, does Mios, but Arya and the gang will manage to take him down. She needs to be a bit more careful, but Arya going very, very low at least for that trade.
Overall, this has been a really good attack.
Indeed it has. They've just found they're picking at the edges. Eventually, they're going to come apart at the seams.
A bomb has been located.
Spider's just unable to actually find all too much. Alice is looking to push on up. Ashley actually manages to find that. The down comes on in. Big mistake there from Arya. And Alice finds the second as well. It is 3 versus 2. Now that she found those 2 kills. But they don't have much control. 40 seconds on the clock. Pigeon is coming down from the roof, but it's going to be difficult to actually manage to group up properly.
I'm interested to see whether they're going to try and go for a B plant in a second. Drop down from hatch. Cover 1.
Pigeon does find the kill there as you see that Kalisa was too far behind. However, Ashley finds Spice. Sorry, Alice, sorry. Wrong name. But Pigeon dropping down, and unfortunately, it was pull for Ashley.
Absolutely fantastic round there by Ashley. Again, consistent with the amount of strength that she has in these games. She's doing really well. And yeah.
Yeah, I mean, she is having a bit of a game right now. Absolutely fantastic from Ashley. 10 frags basically in this since the rehost, and has been really the shining light in their team. Has led a couple of clutches and generally steered the rounds in their own direction.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really impressed by how NSG are picking this up now, especially after last week. You know, they did really well against Divina Victoria. They're performing again. They're doing it again, and I'm hoping that they can carry this through for another couple of rounds.
I mean, they certainly should be able to. They've looked really strong for the past couple. And North Sea Gaming, we came in, we were like, there's not much here. They weren't really showing up. They were being too passive. They've come alive. They're full of energy. And, well, everything's different now. They found 4 rounds pretty much in a row. And, well, they're looking pretty darn strong.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to say. Again, they're winning more on attack on Clubhouse than they are defending. It makes no sense, but look, this is what
today has not made sense. Let's just leave it at that. Yeah, Clubhouse has been a bit strange, but I mean, we still had some pretty good fights and general rounds, as we have seen some pretty strong and sensible pushes as well, because they have been structured in quite a manner.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen some quite fun operator picks coming out here. For example, the Frost. Again with the Echo and the Legion and the Mozzie. All absolutely great operators in their own right. Combined, it's going to be one hell of a push you're going to have to take there.
It's going to be a bit hard to push on in there. But the first part is going to be taking out this wall. And this is going to be Arya trying to set up for this. Going to use a breaching torch in just a second. I'll hope so.
Yeah, I really like this. Generally speaking, you'd have 2 people on the rappel, one on the short
Yeah,
side,
you can
one
have
on
that
the long
rappel
side.
coming in now.
Yeah. Yeah, so what you do is you'd open that up from left to right. Anyone on the bandit will probably get taken out within 1. Or if not, you at least get the wall open.
Yeah, this is really nice. Disaster is going to be sitting on this angle, doesn't quite find anything to be Ashley. Again, finding that initial pick, utilizing this buck to use that vertical play, and is absolutely destroying because of Pascal has to be very careful here, as they don't want to end up like their dead friend on the floor. A lot of pressure from below. Disaster unable to actually find anything, but they will be able to open up that wall relatively soon.
Yeah, anybody that knows how to play vertical control is absolutely terrifying. You do not want to be hanging about when you've got somebody underneath you with a shotgun and an assault rifle and frag grenades.
Actually does get hit by that goon mine, giving a lot of information away. Nova wasn't expecting anyone from below, but that gave the game away. And now she's waiting. Hunter stalking their prey.
Yeah, she's kind of caught between a rock and a hard place right now. The CC wall is open and there's one person underneath red stairs. Frag grenade coming up.
Yeah, frag grenade won't land. Novo, very much aware of that, heard the click and was getting the heck out of the dodge. Now, back in the position, trying to hold. Pascal is going to retreat back onto site, getting away from the oncoming pressure. Are very careful because they know that Mozzie is going to be right there.
I'm kind of scared by the amount of time left here, as well as his flank coming up.
Absolutely. Alice is going to run away. Arya is trying to deal with their flanks, but 20 seconds on the clock. This is not where you want to be if you're Nazi Gaming. Alice trying to hold this angle, doesn't manage to land the shot. Novo shuts down Ashley as she tries to push up the stairs. And now this brings a great opportunity to try and get that pinch. Disaster moves on in, but it's going to be Pascal finding the kill. Razzo is on site, but there's so little opportunity for their team to actually take this. They're down to 2 players, and Spies finish it on up. No time left on the clock, and North Sea Gaming looked lost.
Yeah, it was a rather convincing win right there towards the end, especially after Ashley gets taken out. I feel like North Sea Gaming were a little bit lost. They weren't quite sure how they wanted to take it, and Spies took full advantage of that.
Absolutely. Well played for Spice. And Spice have been punishing pretty hard when it comes to mistakes. And that's the thing. North Sea Gaming have been fluctuating between how they've been playing. They've been playing really well, pretty not making very, very many mistakes at all. And then kind of flip-flopping between that state between just completely whiffing and Spies being right there and going, right, you're doing something stupid. We're going to get you.
Ashley is such a major component of their success right now. Look at how many kills she has compared to the rest of her team. She is doing significantly better, arguably. Hopefully the rest of the team is able to kind of support this, and you know, it's 4-4. Let's get that up to 5-4 with this next round.
I mean, one way or another, it's going to be 5-4 for someone. Like, it's going to happen. Well,
Probably the most diplomatic answer you could ever give right now would be,
let's
I
hope
really
someone
hope...
wins a round. You know, at the end of the day, I want these 2 teams for one of them to win and one of them to lose.
Well, at the end of the day, that might be the only prediction that we could give. That will be 100% accurate. One of these teams is winning, or one of these teams is losing. Not quite sure which.
I mean, yeah, no, it's all up in the air. It's about what NSG we see on the round. They've been a bit inconsistent here, which is interesting because I had them pegged as quite a consistent team, playing very sensibly, especially in their game versus Team Queen as a great example. But unfortunately here, they've just not been able to show us that, and it's sad to see so far. Well, they have picked up on a couple of rounds.
It's exactly as you've just said there. They are one of the more consistent teams within this league, and it's just been interesting to see how they're playing more passively, and yet sometimes it's working, sometimes it isn't. maybe it's down to individual performance right now.
Yeah, and I mean, sometimes it's just, do I win the aim duel? Don't I win the aim duel? And that can be the decider of rounds, matches, tournaments, and everything when it comes down to the clutch. Aria will be opening that up and attempt to push on through a little bit aggressively. They struggled in this choke before, losing 2 players for pretty much no reason. So hopefully this time they'll be able to hold a little bit stronger.
Yeah, I mean, Dart's always a bit of a chance to take, especially when it's such a chokehold like that. You've got a bandit with the MP7, getting pushed by 2 people with an assault rifle. It's not really going to work out for one person here. Make's choosing
Disaster's going to open up some of these hatches now. And with Ashley on this buck again, putting so much pressure onto those below. Neox is even forced out all the way from construction. Oh no, that's really unfortunate there for Pascal. Did have the read on it, was positioned well and didn't quite manage to get it.
Really good idea in concept. In reality, didn't really work out, and she's having to push out. No real benefit to her team there.
Yeah, Raz looking for the shot, doesn't quite find it. It's going to be Pigeon with a nice ACOG shot downrange, finding that frag.
Yeah, it's a really bad position for Arya to be in right now. She's got the assault rifle, but she only has a holographic on there. She can't contest or compete with an ACOG MP5. It's not going to work out. But she doesn't have many options left.
The distraction does come on in. Kalisa putting shots downrange, trying to clear up the opportunity for Arya's. Pigeon is trying to peek, is now prone on the floor. The frag comes on in, but Ashley finishes it with a shot to the face. Frags out on Novo as well, takes out the goo mine. This is pretty darn good for the side of NSG as they pick up a couple of frags. However, they're hemorrhaging people by the second. They've got no time left. The fuser is being planted, but where's Kalisa? Arya holding the defense strong, letting their teammate get the plant down. Absolutely fantastic cooperation, even though they get down.
Yeah, it's great to see Arya picking up here, kicking some of their butts right now. Alice potentially going to be able to go for a revive, but she's not. Yeah, no, she is. Going for the revive. Kalisa covering from the right hand side. Arya trying to cover the doorway.
Oh, Pascal almost going down right away. The spray does come on through. It doesn't quite find the shot. Alice does finish off Arya. However, oh, nice shot there. Will find the round for Spice as they take down NSG, and it's 5-4.
Oh,
surprisingly.
What a surprise!
For Spice.
I don't think anybody could have predicted that this round would have been such as a close one like that. I feel like NSG might have choked it a little bit there towards the end. They weren't able to watch all of the angles, and Jaeger was able to push up to the right hand side. And yeah, it's unfortunate, but I think it was good work by them.
I mean, it certainly was. They played pretty darn well in that retake. They lost a couple of members where they really shouldn't have, and NSG did manage to get that plant down where they also probably shouldn't have. But in the end, it comes down to the result of the round, and they managed to deal in that 2v2 pretty darn well.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing a bit of a role switch here. Kalisa now taking over his buck from Ashley, and Ashley playing an Ash main. All aim, no brain right now. It appears that is going to be their strategy for this round.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you catch these players off guard. This time, there's no frost traps to try and slow them down, so feeling pretty good about that.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a lot of 3-speed attackers on right now. I'm looking forward to this. I think aggressive push, I think it's going to work out in their favor. I don't think Spies will be expecting this as much as they were earlier on.
Absolutely, I don't think they will be, because we've been a couple of rounds in, we've not seen it yet. It would be surprising to see it now, right?
5 seconds
Yeah, 100%. Like, I mean, it's around 10, all right? A lot of the time when you're thinking about it, you're thinking, hey, all right, people are going to play more controlled the later into the game. No, they're seeing the opposite reaction right now.
New feed activated.
Get some Valkyrie cameras thrown out onto the western side. Imagine I'll give them quite a long sight angle, especially onto the jacuzzi wall as well.
Opening up well. Still a lot of time on these left and around, but I was like moving into this position and trying to make sure there's no one sitting underneath. So just clears out that area. No. Alright. Gonna try and pressure from above.
So I like the fact they brought out the castle now. Might be a little bit harder for the attackers to deal with now. Perhaps they weren't expecting it as much. They still have the Ash, still have the Zofia. They can deal with the castle barricades. Just takes a bit more time.
Indeed it does. I mean, so the thing is, right, is the castle barricades do slow you down. But the thing is, the major thing is you can see players like Pigeon play around them aggressively, gets that spray onto Arya, picks up basically a free kill. Razo will drop down, try to get that refrag, but can't really find the angle, trying to spray something fierce, but Pigeon will be able to survive here and get into a much safer position. We do see the spray come round, doesn't quite find the headshot. Razo unable to find that, surprisingly here.
Yeah, I mean, Pigeon's still in full health from the entire engagement.
Oh my. That was a disaster, right there.
Yeah. That is unfortunate for the attackers. But defenders, they're doing really well with us. They are being so tenacious. That is a good word. I like that. They are being tenacious with their defense right now, and it is showing.
It is disaster, making sure there's no one coming for that flank. Starting to move up a little bit. They haven't got too much in the way of time. 45 seconds, and there's just players waiting in so many situations to get the crossfire. It's going to be difficult to get the plant. Kalisa trying to peek around, but there's not actually anyone here. Ashley, I feel, is going to have to be the player to make this big play, and it's all on them.
It's 25 seconds left, and there is an Ash droning.
That's a weird thing to say. With Kalista trying to see if anyone's in this wall. The spray comes on through, doesn't quite find anything. Ashley finds a kill. It is now almost even. They're ahead, but 8 seconds on the clock. Mux holding this angle, get the spray. That's exactly what you want to see. One player left remaining. It's not enough. Spies take round 10 and move 6-4. They're on match point.
North Sea Gaming, they're doing their very best, but it's just not working out, and they are losing it in the final few seconds of the round. Fantastic effort by Spies. It's been really good to see how unpredictable they've been so far with some of their movements, and it's working out for them. Nothing too much of a surprise here with these operator picks. Pigeon swapping it in the last second from an Echo to a Valkyrie to a Mute now.
Oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense. If you're going to the CCTV cash room. Oh, okay. The Echo, either one works. They've been doing a interesting strategy where they've been utilizing that Mute jammer quite heavily. But I think the Echo, as we've talked about before, is more generically powerful. So I'm happy to see that back. And you pop it in the garage, as happy as a bunny.
Yeah, exactly. And again, we're bringing out Mozzie. Always good to see. I think we've been singing the praises of Mozzie the past couple of hours, but it's just such a fantastic operator. Hopefully, Ash is going to be able to use that to her full effectiveness.
I mean, honestly, we've seen some fantastic fragging from Raleigh here. Finding 15 frags in 7 rounds, that's 2 a round, which consistently is absolutely insane. So, very impressive from them, even though they are down in terms of rounds right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's not too much of a surprise that we're currently sitting in 6-4. I mean, Spies have been doing very well this game. Honestly, I'm shocked by how NSG have been playing. I would have thought they'd be playing a lot faster and a lot more aggressively. Tempo aggression specifically. But we're not seeing that today. Yeah.
We just aren't, and it's kind of sad to see, unfortunately. But yeah.
I think there's a couple of teams that are possibly not having the best of days here. Which, a bit of a shame, but at the end of the day, I think it's always a learning experience for everybody involved. And hopefully they'll take all of the experiences from today on board
I mean, yeah, no, I mean, game still isn't over. Of all the team matches where we think a comeback could happen, this is it. These are two very strong teams. If they get in their zone, well, they can take consecutive rounds. As much as they may have struggled against others, they're doing pretty darn well for the most part. A lot of damage here going onto Razo. Needs to be careful.
Yeah, like, you would have thought it'd be the other way around, where Novo would be on the receiving end of this. However, Razo, very low health. Instead, on the rappel.
Yeah. We do see Alice sitting in the bathroom, waiting for someone to push on up. Also holding the angle. There is Pascal finding Ashley. An important pick on a key player for this team. Alice decides this is the moment. I'm now going to lurk. They're all aware about one of these other players who's gotten kills on the other side. This is it.
Losing an Ash like that is such a...
Oh, doesn't quite find the kill. Does some damage to Kalisa, but it's going to be the attack picking up a couple of kills here and evening up the scores. So they still haven't managed to make a way on into this side.
They still have the potential to make this work. They've got 55 seconds. They have enough time to drone it out, see where the defenders are, and see what the options they have.
Absolutely.
Disabling and swapping bags.
Kalisa needs to be able to push on a little bit more. Disaster is trying to set up something here, but isn't quite able to do it. The C4 whiffs, unfortunately. Disaster is going to resolve these X-Carriers. We see Max rotating back towards their side.
I don't think they can really afford that. The Thatcher holding that angle and holding the flank right now. I think they need to put a flank drone there.
Absolutely.
And then push.
They certainly do. Razo, being low health, is on this angle duty. Mix is waiting for it. 13 seconds, 10 seconds on the clock. The Echo is here. This is going to be game. It's going to get the cancel on it, and this is going to be so brutal. Diffuser goes down. They don't have the time remaining, and this is going to be the defender's side winning. That is Spies taking it 7-4 over NSG. Definitely well played by both sides, but man, Spies really showed up today.
That was an incredible game, and that is exactly what we were talking about at the start of the stream, when we said last match is probably going to be one of the closest. Incredibly well played by both teams. Good performance by both. And yeah, Spies pulled through. It's fair play to them. They did really well. Good effort by them.
Well, that was quite the match there. To be understated, I guess. Kind of a frustrating game for NSG, you'd have to say. Can you attribute this? And I'm not putting this on Razo by any means, but do you think that sub-in might have thrown off their overall composure as a team? Can anything be maybe attributed to that?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's not the sub's fault. It's no one's fault. If you get in a new player, it's going to change the makeup of the team. Miss Murray, very key to this team, and they weren't able to function on the way that we were expecting from them. Admirable showing, because considering that they went 7-4 regardless, but unfortunately, it just wasn't enough. And I think obviously we would have seen a different game with Miss Marie. They have won. We can't really tell. I think it's a bit unfair to jump to any conclusions. Spies played pretty admirably there, regardless. So I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and say they might have even won with.
Yeah. Now, as far as the different stats go, since that rehost after 3 rounds. NSG did go on a 4-round run. They actually had the lead at 4-3 at that point, and they seemed to be where they were loose near the beginning. They seemed to have everything tightened up, and then it all just kind of started coming apart again near the end. And you look at something like Ashley, since that rehost, had 15 kills. I'm not sure quite how many she had before.
Yeah.
But, the rest of the team, I wouldn't say they didn't do anything. They did contribute. It just wasn't at the level that obviously Ashley was at. Now that's asking a lot. But then you look over to Spy's side, and none of them in any sort of statistical category stood out, but they were all there together, kind of even across the board. And I think that wouldn't that kind of attribute to them operating together as a unit?
Yeah, I mean, we saw it there. Spies worked together. They were consistent with themselves, and yes, nobody necessarily stood out as much as, say, for example, Ashley for NSG. But at the end of the day, they got the win. That's what matters. It's the same as the idea of respect your planter. If you get the win, it doesn't matter how many kills you have, how many assists you have. What matters is that you win. Simple enough. Spies won. I think it was really well played by them.
Yeah. And just to let our audience know, just recapping from earlier, the stream that did happen, or sorry, the game that did happen off stream, that was Sphinx versus SMS Athena. SMS Athena ended up taking that one 7-0 or 7-0. And then this match finishing up here, of course, we had Spies taking it 7-4 in NSG in a very good match overall. We had today was a fantastic day, a lot of upsets as I heard you guys say throughout the day. Anything that you guys were mentioning that you expected to happen, just not happening. It was just a wild day. But I just personally want to thank everyone for watching today's matches and continuing to support the players in this CCS Women's League. It's been quite amazing. Fraser, how was your first day with us here?
Oh, well, I mean, ironically enough, I'm an analyst, and I'm fairly confident that most of my predictions were wrong. But, give it a bash. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. It's brilliant. Thank you.
Yeah. Any last words from you, Rook?
I'm gobsmacked. We had some really great games today. Thank you very much for having me.
Perfect. Well, I'm glad you guys enjoyed the evening. I certainly did. We are coming back later this evening, of course, with the North American side of things. I hope you all join us for that. But thank you for sticking around, watching these games with us, enjoying some great Rainbow Six Siege, and we'll see you next week for week number 8.